Motor Speedway. They're lean. They're mean. They're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast to Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars. We're here in the Steel City of Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania, just a little while away from Lernerville. We've got 4 races left here in the 2025 summer season, and it's another edition of Monday Night Madness brought to you by Flatline Racing Bodies on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Well, we've got 2 divisions tonight, 2 of 3 divisions tonight that pretty much have a driver pulled away in the standings without the drops in effect just yet. You've got Scott Rion with a notable lead on Mike Brewer at 422 to 386. With the 7 races Rion has, he's got 2 drop races remaining to use. Those could go into effect starting in week 10 of the season. And the Rebels, it's been dominant by Teddy York in the 09 with a 448 to 381 advantage on Jeff Kemper. York looking to get his first win of the season this evening. But in the Renegades, no surprise, it is the Salesman versus the High Side Binger, the 2 best sprint car drivers in the Coast to Coast Racing League, and they're pretty good here at Lernerville Speedway. We're glad you could join us here once again for another edition of Monday Night Madness. Marty Sacalo with you on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, preparing for the Open 358, which are brought to you by Full Throttle Motorsports, and they've got 15 drivers with us here tonight, so everybody will make the show as the drivers continue to make their way out onto the track. This is a fun track for the Open 358. You see both crews come intact, whether it be the high side or the low side here at Lernerville. How it'll play out this evening, nobody really knows just yet. Gonna have a small drivers meeting before we get things going. Let's talk about your top five here in the Open 358 standings. Scott Riome leads on Mike Brewer, 422 to 386. And you got Sam Bachman, who was third in standings, 1 point behind on Mike Brewer. Bachman, tough finish for him last week. Trevor Giroux, fourth. He is 10 points behind Bachman in the race for third there. And rounding out the top five, Logan Wentz. So, once again, it is a dominant FTM battle once again as we hit the home stretch here, basically, in the regular season. They've finished here. We're going to get going here with qualifying in just a moment. Before we do go qualifying, you do see that what's in the bottom left. If you're new to Coast, we have a tradition here at Lernerville that we call the fall-off count. If a driver goes over the banking at any point, whether it be turns 1 and 2, backstretch, or 3 and 4, as long as they're not going into pit road, they get put on the fall-off count. It's going to be all 4 wheels going over, and this only happens for heat race, for racing action. No practice, no qualifying, no warm-ups. It's got to be during racing. First driver we're watching on the track in the hammer down 31, that is B-Temp Brandon Templeton. And we always like to do a little guessing game on what the fall-off count is going to be by the end of the night. And my prediction, give me, give me 27 tonight in the fall-off count. Make your guesses in the chat. B-Temp sets the bar, 15.188. On lap 1, Kurt Schatzer, purple, sector 2. Superman goes second quick. He's at a 15.260. The jokester, Michael Vitale, takes second, though, away at a 15.252. And then Trevor Giroux takes it back. William Watson, meanwhile, purple, sector 1. Orange, sector 2. He stays 6th. Billy Roberts, a good lap, second quick at a 15.233. Sam Bachman was purple in sector 1, a 15.330 for him on lap 1. 1 lap to go for the Sam Maconda, that 007 ride. Bachman in the green in sector 2. It was good enough to go up to second, but just 2 thousandths off of Templeton's time at a 15.191. And just like that, qualifying is already done. So B-Temp, once again, the quickest. He's looking to go for 3 straight victories in the Open 358 division. He's won the last 2. And, man, let me tell you something. Templeton is looking really, really good. Won at Kokomo 2 weeks ago, then took the win at Knoxville last week. So we're ready to go for heat race number 1 this evening. It is always heat 1 brought to you by Gambler Motorsports, proud team of the Coast to Coast Racing League. Here's how they line up as William Watson starts on the pole, the FTM number 23 to his outside. The jokester, Michael Vitale, in the 213. On the second row, you've got Billy Roberts in the number 10 ride to his outside. It's B-Temp Brandon Templeton in the 31. The third row, you've got Slide Job Scotty, Scott Riome in the 4. Next to him, it's Mike Weeda in car number 66. Final row this evening, Bob DeGood in the 7, and Putt Putt Clay Christofferson in the 51. And if you are tuned in this evening, let us know who you're rooting for, or just to say hello in the chat. Whichever way it is, we'll take it. And we're wasting no time. We're coming to the green flag here in heat race number 1. Winner on pole. Everybody makes it into the show. Here we go. Lap 1 led by Watson in the number 23. Look out! 2 cars up on their side. And we got 2 off the track. Wida and Vitali. We're already off to 2 on the fall-off count. But it's Watson that continues to lead over Billy Roberts, Scott Riome, and Brandon Templeton. Again, everybody makes the show tonight, regardless of what happens. Here's a look at what happened. The jokester squeezes Templeton up on 2 wheels, and man, I tell you what, the 66 of Wida got hooked there by Christopherson in a tough deal. So the fall-off count at 2 early as Watson's off to a great start. Let's watch the race here for 3rd as Scott Riome tries to climb some spots here on B-Temp Brandon Templeton. Slide job by Slide Job Scotty in the FTM Express. B-Temp able to counter back at that 31. On board with the number 4. Everybody ripping the lip for right now. Just don't want to get too high or else they'll go over, spin the car out. Billy Roberts trying to close in on William Watson. I believe one of these drivers in the top 2 looking for their first heat win of the season. And it's Watson that goes top shelf there to hang on to the race lead for now. Final lap underway. What's going to take for Billy Roberts to take this heat win? He's probably going to go where Watson won't. Roberts sends it in deep here. They stay side by side. Watson, though, clears and wins the heat race. Watson's on pole. Roberts 2nd. Templeton 3rd. Christopherson 4th. Riome in 5th. DeGood 6th. And Wida in 7th. So with that, heat race number 1 is in the books. Let's move to heat 2, brought to you by Regency Home Inspection. And here's the starting lineup as Joseph Grandy starts on pole position in the 518 to his outside of 100 grand. It's Superman Kurt Schatzer in the 218. Row number 2, the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux in car number 75 to his outside. It's Sam Akonda, Sam Bachman in the 007. Row 3, it's Jeff Barker, the Bird to Beats, to the 513 to his outside. Bud Molyneux in the 883. Rounding out the grid here this evening, Ryan Elzey in car number 27. Wasting no time as we go green for heat race number 2. Grandy tries the slide job there on Kurt Schatzer for the race lead, but they stay door to door here. If Grandy slides up, he leads the opening lap, and that's the case. Drew and Bachman, the FTM teammates, go for 3rd, but it's the Philly Flyer that wants 2nd. The newly married man, Trevor Giroux, going for that race lead. Schatzer thinking about threading the needle here. At the line, it's still Grandy by a hair. Winner starts the outside of the front row. Something happened with Joseph Grandy. There could have been some near neck code / contact. Oh man, this is good stuff. They were nearly 4 wide. Hang on, Bud Molyneux. Great save of the 83, but it puts him down to the 6th spot. Giroux going after the race lead. And Bachman nearly hopped something in turn 4. That puts him down to the 4th position. Giroux driving deep as he can on board with the Philly Flyer. Another deep dive at the bottom. Schatzer following the top 2, hoping they mess up their line. But the field all spread out, single file. Grandy committed up top. Giroux committed mid. Schatzer was also up top. Bud Molyneux has crashed in turn number 4. To go, though, in the heat race for the catalytic recovery. 5:18 of Joseph Grandi. Final lap underway in the heat. Oh, Giroux tried to grab a run off in turn 2. But couldn't get that to work. Here goes Giroux. What a mother over the all signs. Oh, Grandi counters it back and wins. Ho ho! Giroux went balls to the wall there on the final lap, basically, and tried everything he could do to send it. Oh, what a finish of the heat races here. We'll step aside, take our first break of the night. When we come back, featured time of the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Warm-ups continuing here at the moment. As Brandon Templeton currently quickest, 15:290. William Watson second, 15:298. Michael Vitale third, 15:32. Billy Roberts fourth, 15:37. Sam Bachman fifth at a 15:41. Anthony Morano checking in. Hello to you. As always, who's rooting for the FTM team? So we're set to go here for our first feature of the evening. And so let's meet the field and give you tonight's starting lineup here. William Watson on the pole, the number 23 to his outside. It's 100 grand Joseph Grandi in the 518. Row 2, Billy Roberts in the 10, and the Philly Flyer, Trevor Giroux, the 075. Row 3, B-Temp, Brandon Templeton, the 31. Next to him, it's Superman Kurt Schatzer in the 218. Row 4, Putt-Putt, Clay Christopherson in the 51, and Sam Bachman, the Samaconda, in the 007. Rounding out your top 10, it's Scott Riom, Slide Job Scotty in the 4, and the Brew to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513. Row number 6, Bob D. Good in the 7, and Ryan Elzy in car number 27. Row 7, Mike Weeda in the 66, and Bud Molyneux in the 883, and the Jokester, Michael Vitale, rounds out the grid, and Joseph Grandy not making the call here at the grid tonight. Set for our Flatline Racing Bodies green flag this evening. Who's your pick to win? Let us know in the chat. I'm going to go with Giroux this evening. Time to shake and bake for the first time tonight. It's time to get it on at Lernerville. Roberts and Giroux go side by side here into 3 and 4. Ooh, Giroux nearly runs out of road there, but Roberts leads lap 1, and Trevor Giroux crisscrosses for the race lead. The Philly flag trying to go side by side, and Brandon Templeton already up to the 3rd spot in the number 31. Up the hill, the 75 goes, and he steals the lead from Billy Roberts. Here goes Speed Temp underneath for that runner-up position. Is it enough to take it off for turn 2? Not just yet. But the low side starting to come to fruition. Templeton riding the grass. They're off for turn number 4, but it's Roberts edging him out the line for 2nd. Side by side here for the last 2 laps or so. Kurt Schatzer for. Oh, man, I thought Templeton was about to spin it, but he hit the berm picture perfect. It's like one of those things where if you find the sweet sauce, you get a little extra boost to it. He just about did there in 3 and 4, and I thought he was going to go around. We got Bob D. Good that's crashed. And something's got to miss as well with Jeff Barker. So, put 1 up there on the fall-off count. We've got 3 that have fallen off here. Oh, and we almost had Billy Roberts fall off. He got up on 2 wheels. Lost some time, though, to Trevor Giroux. He hangs on to 2nd. Great defense by the 66 off 1 and 2. Now tries to grab a run. Got a side-by-side battle. Mike Weeda, William Watson for 8th. Believe Watson had a penalty that forced him to go to the rear here for the feature. It looked like he had a good chance to win. Templeton trying to gain some boost off for turn 2 up on the banking. On board the 31 car. Top 2 riding the lower line. You see Giroux using that slider line, and it seems like it's working out, but he actually lost some time. Oh, Billy Roberts goes. Oh, he's over the banking. That counts as a fall-off count. No yaw. Luckily, though, able to keep it straight, but he plummets to the bottom of the leaderboard. And Brandon Templeton gets a gift from that and moves up to the 2nd spot. That puts the fall-off count up at 4. Bob D. Good starting to exit the pits. Now remember, exiting the pits, got to be careful, as it's very easy at Lernerville to trigger cautions like that. Checking on something with Jeff Barker and why. Alright, I think he was having some netcode issues. Here's the race for the lead. Templeton sends her deep. Does he throw the slide job off at turn 4? He tried to, didn't work. Giroux hanging on. And he's got the quickest car on the track. 15:42 last time by. We'll try to rip the lip. Oh, but he caught too much of the rear And it went over for just a moment, but he dug it deep, lost a lot of time. And now here comes Putt-Putt, Clay Christopherson, trying to attack. Then don't look now, the guy in 6th spot. Bud Molyneux's up 8 positions. He's a couple seconds behind. But you got Putt-Putt Christopherson in 3rd. Scott Rayome is charging up 4. He rounds out the top 5 of the moment. He's going after Kurt Schatzer for the 4th spot. We're halfway home. 15 up, 15 down. Rayome kisses the wall, going into turn 1 that time. As Giroux starts to open up this lead, 1 second or so here on Brandon Templeton. Jets a little sideways off for 4. And now Trevor Giroux works on some lap traffic. Bob to go in the 7, who, remember, fell off there just a couple of moments ago. And this has allowed Templeton and Christopherson to reel in your race leader. Oh, he opened up the door up top for B-Temp. Thought for a moment the 31 was going to get a big head of steam. Riding with Christopherson. And Giroux immediately goes up to the slider line. But Templeton's going to gain a lot in his corner exit. 10 laps of racing to go. Up the hill goes the 75. Templeton tries to get some ground to open up. Giroux takes his line away, but they drag race into 3. Slide job, Templeton. Giroux tries to counter it back, and B-Temp has the lead with 9 laps to go. Giroux sends her deep once again in 1 and 2. Lernerville's going to turn to Slide Job City, and here comes Putt-Putt. Clay Christopherson tries to be a factor in this. 2 FTF cars versus a hammer-down car in the 31. Takes the lead and nearly puts Giroux up in the wall. And Giroux goes over the barricade. Trevor Giroux is out of it. And he merges back in the 6th position. Seven laps to go. Brandon Templeton still with company, though, in Clay Christopherson. Putt-Putt in that 51, up 5 positions. There is some traffic ahead. I don't know, though, if the top 2... Oh, Templeton went over! Templeton went over! Christopherson to the race lead! Oh, the chance at the 3-peat is likely over for Brandon Templeton. The pressure is getting to the leaders. 5 laps to go, and Putt-Putt has a big gap, the biggest lead anybody has at 1.3 seconds. You have another car that went over. It's Ryan Alzey in the 27. There's a lot of pandemonium here in this race tonight. 4 laps to go. Rayome, the slide job on Kurt Schatzer. B-Temp in this battle for the 2nd spot. And Rayome slams the door right in front of B-Temp. The 4 tries to get an entry to set up into turn 1, but Templeton was right there. The hammer down teammates door to door for 2nd off and 2. Trevor Giroux has crashed and the caution flag waves with 3 to go. Hold the phone. Christopherson's got company now. So that'll easily erase the lap traffic. But do Schatzer, Rayome, and Templeton have anything within 2 laps? Here's what happened to Giroux. Goes in really deep, catches the lap car of Bob D. Good. And that's a tough break for the Philly Flyer, who was leading this race. Went in way too deep, and the Good he was coming down. One came up, the other came down just like that. Well, Anthony Morano's pick may come true here this evening. Light should go out this time. Here we come to the green flag. It's a 2-lap shootout, green-white checkered. Templeton still fourth. Schetzer looked low. Rayome tried to go 3 wide for the race lead, but it didn't work. That was guts by the FTM Express. William Watson tries to get in this battle after starting for the back. Final lap underway while they're side by side for second. Clay Christopherson trying to pull away in the Full Throttle Motorsports number 51. Qualified 7th in the race. It's a hard race and a dandy for second in the end, but to the checkered flag, Clay Christopherson, your winner at Lernerville. Photo finish for third, I think it was Rayome over Templeton. But it's the 51 of Putt Putt. That goes to victory lane. It's his first win of the season in Open 358 competition. So he'll get to park it up there. We'll talk with your top 3 here in just a moment. 2/10. No, 100th. It's going to be the margin of victory between Rayome and Templeton there in the end. Whoa! Where in the world did Watson come from? Oh, not. Boo! Oh, hang on. We didn't show it. It was in the results. Yeah, the results still popped up. My bad. Watch. Oh, Watson's having fun. All right, top 3 are in. And let's start with Slide Job Scotty, Scott Rayome. Scotty, a charge from 9th to 3rd and a photo finish over Brandon Templeton. Take me through that, especially the finish.
Hang on, Marty. I got a mouthful of this Blake Chapman popcorn.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
That's a shameless plug right there.
Cart 15% off. Dean Reynolds approved.
Yeah, that was quite a battle there after B-Temp fell off, and I knew he was right there. I was doing everything I could to try to cleanly get around Kurt. And, that's just racing. Good finish, good race.
What positives do you take away out of this run? I'm sorry.
Well, points, obviously. So that's the big goal there my goal going into the race was top 5, finish ahead of Sam and Mike Brewer. Mike didn't show up, and Sam got that EOL there. So good points night, and we'll just move forward and try to keep getting top 5s.
Good deal, good deal. Well, hey, congratulations, a great run. Who you want to give shout-outs to?
All the guys over at Full Throttle Motorsports. You, Marty, for doing the broadcast. Dean at Super Dirt Car. Gunnar Swan Chair, Swan Speed Shop. This is one of his setups right there, man. All I did was change the gear all night long. Oh, shit, I don't even remember, Marty. We'll just call it there, I guess. Give a shout out to Tony out there in the at work. He was sending me messages earlier. So I'll give a shout out to Tony, and we'll go from there.
Alrighty. Well, we'll let you go. Great job tonight. And we'll hopefully you're gonna run the sprint tonight.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you're focused on the big block. You want to watch that big block race, don't you?
It's on TV right now.
It's on my phone, so. But alrighty, great job tonight.
All right, Marty. Yeah, good talking to you.
So Scott Rayome finished in 3rd. Let's go to Superman Kurt Schatzer. Kurt, a nice run at the end. Where'd you feel your car came in late in the going?
You dragged yourself down and then dragged him up with
Scott. Whoops. My bad. Thank you, Clay. All right. My apologies. I moved myself down. All right. There we go. All right, Kurt. Nice run late in the going. Where did you feel your car was better at the end?
To tell you the truth, Marty, I don't know. I was just trying to go where they weren't. Got real lucky there with Trevor and Templeton going over. So I don't know. I felt like I was maybe like a 5th place car and was just trying to hang on, play it safe. I know Scott was coming for me there hard at the end. Had me feeling a little nervous there, just try to hold off.
What positives do you take away out of this run?
Man, got on the podium. That's a good positive. That's been a while for me. Yeah, that's about it.
Well, great run though for you tonight. Who do you want to give shout outs to?
Oh, gotta thank the good Lord. Jay, Dirt Track Bank, Got Your Six Racing Network, Hammer Down Racing, Brandon Templeton, Brian Dickens for the awesome setups he hooks us up with every Monday night. And yeah, everybody watching at home, you doing the broadcast, doing an awesome job. Thanks.
Alrighty. Well, great job tonight, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, sir.
Kurt Schatzer finishing in the second spot. Let's go to Victory Lane. Talk to your winner, Clay Christopherson, the 51. Putt, a great win for tonight. How much fun was that battle for the lead in that long run? You, Trevor, Brandon, that was one heck of a show.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't notice I had a 0x that whole race.
There you
Kinda felt
go.
like Moses. Everyone kind of parted the seas in front of me. I don't think I passed a single car.
They all were probably thinking, nah, you know what? That fall off count seems a little low. Let's just help Marty out.
Yeah, I went with a way lower gear and could drive in full throttle and then just trail the brake on it, and it just felt like on a slot car. So no, the car felt really consistent. I just kind of waited around for them guys to be side by side and see what the outcome with that was.
Were you just hoping for them to just basically put on a slide job duel and hope to use it to your advantage? Because it seemed like, in my opinion, you did have the best car late in that race.
I started doing a little cut down to see if they would bottle up together, either both of them brake check or little bump or something, and I would have a good lead when I got by them. But no, that was pretty fun racing up top there. It was tough to pass, but it was fun racing.
Who do you want to give shout-outs to on this run?
You guys for putting this on, all the guys at FTM and Swan Speed Shop for 358 and big block sets.
Awesome. Well, Clay, congratulations. First win of the season. Well done tonight.
Thank you, sir.
All right, there's Putt Clay Christopherson, your winner. Good step aside. Got to take a break. When we come back, second feature of the night on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we talked about it.
outpouring of love. It was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network as we await our second feature of our second race of the night to start. We've got the Rebels here at Lernerville, our developmental series. Marty Sakala back with you here on the call. Glad you could join us here for all the action. Rebels have been a lot of fun to watch this season. We just got our third winner of this, the third race won this season by Gavin Chatham in the Rebels division. And the B Division standing still has Ted York up on the top of the charts, leading 448 to 381. Jeff Kemper second in the points with Cale Bixler third. Chad Griggs is fourth with 2 wins, and expect him to be a big threat out here this evening. And finally, Chris Schaefer rounds out the top 5 in the points. We've got 8 drivers with us here. A couple minutes before we start our qualifying session at the earliest. Still continuing on here. They believe they should have the driver's wing going in any moment. You look at that Chris Schaefer right now in car number 19. Currently currently 5th in the standings coming in. But good to see Schaefer return with us this season to competition. And I got a good feeling that we're going to be seeing a lot more fall-offs with the sprint cars than we saw with the 358 modifieds. Just my opinion, though. Giving us bad shots here. There's the Sarge. Cale Bixler currently third in the standings. I'm keeping a close eye, though, on what's happening at Sharon Speedway at the same time. Like Scott was mentioning, Super Dirt Car Series race is on tonight. Griggs making his way. Nope, he's doing burnouts for fun. There's John Klimowitz in the 34. Doc Watson in the 006. Again, should be about a minute out or so. They typically like to start this at the earliest at 7:45. Our Rebels brought to you by our friends of the Salty Dogs. And if you're just tuning in on the Coast to Coast Racing, oh, that's a lick for Watson. If you're watching on Coast to Coast, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Isaac Bowman in the 9. Was good to talk with him last week after his run in Knoxville. Could tonight be the night where maybe he scores a victory in the Rebels division? We'll just have to wait and find out. All right. They've put an end to that. 10 drivers with us here tonight. So I believe it'll just be one heat this evening. We're going to watch Chris Schaefer in the 19 here for qualifying. And you'll see your favorite drivers pop up on the bottom of the screen. And Schaefer with a hard hit in the wall. And up and over he goes. So off to get a tow. And he, believe, was already on his first lap, if I recall correctly. Oh, no, that was a warm-up lap for him. Jeff Kemper goes to the top, 12.918. John Klimowitz Jr. second, 12.94. Cale Bixler second, 12.924. Isaac Bowman, purple, sector 2. Bowman. They had to invalidate that first lap, so let's see how he does on lap number 2. But Chad Griggs of the 27 may have had an invalidated lap as well. Bowman second lap time. Quick time at a 12.79. Ted York to the top by 2 thousandths of a second. Chad Griggs said, hold my beer. I'll take it away at a 12.568. 1, 2, 5, 6, 8 for Griggs of the 27. And again quicker in Sector 1. Sector 2, though, just a bit off the mark. Steve Maurer, 8th quick. Chris Schaefer up to 4th on lap 2, 12.84 for him. And it seems like that's everybody here in qualifying. Alrighty. So here we go for heat race number 1, brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. And here's the way they line up as the Sarge on the pole. So we'll have 2 heat races here for you this evening. Cale Bixler in the 789 and Gavin Shaw in the 710. Row number 2, it is Isaac Bowman in car number 9, who is outside. Chad Griggs in the 27. And the final row, Steve Maurer in the 888 next to Mason Hine in the 89. Field's rolling off here. I believe only one pace lap we'll need before we go green. All right, so this is the first of 2 heats. Had to take an extra pace lap. Winner starts on the pole position for our 30-lap feature here tonight. Gavin Shaw making his Monday Night Madness debut with us. As Cale Bixler on the pole, where green heat 1 is underway. Good start for Cale in that 789. Jagger is following Gavin Shaw. Shaw took a peek up on the cushion, but didn't work. Lap 1 led by Cale Bixler. Griggs trying to find a way to make a pass at the 710 to go after the Sarge for the race lead. Everyone look at the top up here. That's the dominant line for sprint cars. Who will, though, be the first to go off? Griggs, great exit off for turn 2. With a small little diamond. Now slide jobs there on Gavin Shaw. Nearly got 2 sideways off for turn 4. That could have allowed Shaw to take second back with a 710. With a lucky left there. On board Shaw as he decides to test out the bottom. Is it going to be enough here? No, open it up for Bowman. And maybe even another spot for Mason Hine in the 89. Starting to go from bad to worse here for the driver making his Monday Night Madness debut, and he nearly loses it there in turn 4. But it's the Sarge, Cale Bixler out in front with 2.5 laps to go. Isaac Bowman, meanwhile, over the cushion in turns 1 and 2. Fall off count now at number 8, and Bixler a little bit sideways there. Griggs trying to strike with 1 lap to go. Here goes Chad. Slide job, Griggs. Counter back by Cale Bixler, but it's Griggs hanging on to the race lead for now. Cale tries to send her one final time, but leaves Griggs the top open. Does Griggs shut the door on Cale Bixler? Yes, he does. And that's going to give a big lick for Cale Bixler. Up and over he goes and will not. Oh, he may see the checkered flag, but he goes from 2nd to 5th. So, let's watch that one more time. Coming to the checkered flag. This was a heavy hit. Look at that. Couldn't even control it. Luckily, they got those pillows there off turn 4, I like to call them. So now with that done, let's set up heat race number 2. As John Klimowitz Jr. on the pole in the 34. Next to him, it's Jeff Kemper in the 181. Row 2, Chris Schaefer in car 19 to his outside. Teddy York in the 009. Final car on the grid, Doc, Mike Watson himself in the 006. Oh, that's already up. We're green already for heat race number 2. I forgot I was on replay mode still. My mistake. Jeff Kemper immediately to the race lead. Schaefer trapped on Klimowitz Jr., but finds his way around the outside as Watson goes for a slide. Is luckily able to hang on to it. Klimowitz peeked underneath there on Schaefer for second. Couldn't get that to work. Oh no! Schaefer, Kemper, Klimowitz all get together, and Todd York says bye, bye, bye. Everything came out of nowhere there. And Klimowitz, I think, just went over. Nope, he's stuck in the infield. Wow, let's watch that again. Just pile drove him. And look at that. Klimowitz up and over he goes. Just a complete flip in midair. And something just happened with Kemper here. Remember, he doesn't have the top wing. Now, he was pulling onto pit road, so we're going to let that one slide. Meanwhile, York's just cruising. 4.8 second lead on Mike Watson. Final lap underway here in Heat 2. Checkers wave, York your winner. Second will be Mike Watson and Chris Schaefer to finish in the third spot. Warm-up time here, so we'll step aside, take a break on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Stay with us. We're coming right back. Warm-ups continuing to wrap up here. Kale Bix through your quickest. 13-13. Mason 9 second, 13-16. Gavin Shaw third, 13-24. John Klimowitz Jr. is fourth, 13-36. And Mike Watson is fifth at a 13-45. So ready to go for feature time here. Let's meet the field and give you tonight's starting lineup. On the pole for tonight, Chad Griggs in car number 27, and to his outside, it is Ted York in the 009. Row 2, Mason Hine, he's in car number 89. Next to him, it is Mike Watson. Doc is in the 006. Row 3, Gavin Shaw, he's in the 710, and next to him, the 19 of Chris Schaefer. Row 4, it's Steve Maurer in the 888. To his outside, it's Jeff Kemper in the 181. And rounding out your top 10 this evening, Cale Bixler, the Sarge, in the 789. Next to him is John Klimowitz Jr. in the 34. Final car on the grid here this evening, Isaac Bowman. Bowman in the number 9. The field rolling off here as we prepare to go green for our Rebels feature. 30 laps, top 5, transferring to Renegades. Let's know your pick to win in the chat. My pick this evening, I'm going to go with the man from the pole, the 27 of Griggs. But a good field here tonight. We'll see what they can do. Steve King Foundation pace car on pit road. Set for our feature this evening. Flatline Racing green flag around the corner. Time to shake and bake for the second time tonight. Chad Griggs, Ted York, bring us the green. It's time to get it on. York and Hines side by side for the second position. Griggs leads the opening lap. Behind them, Watson, Schaefer, battling for the fourth spot on the racetrack. Watson with the preferred line up on the cushion there through 3 and 4. And Watson able to clear Chris Schaefer for right now. Schaefer, though, very better in the corners. In front of them, Mason Hine currently rounds out the podium spot. Trouble, Cale Bixler gets sideways. Jeff Kemper. Isaac Bowman does a 360 as Kemper shortcuts through the grass. No caution, we stay green as the battle for 8th is on. And now we go to yellow here. And I believe they did this one here for Kemper to try and get it back on the racetrack. I could be wrong, though. So they hook there. But, like, I feel like there should have been a caution flag there on that side of things. Now here's Kemper. That's where it started there, the hook and ladder with Cale. He mows the Lernerville Speedway lawn. So we'll go white this time by 1 lap until we take the green flag again. All right, so here's how the lineup as we come back to green. Chad Griggs and Ted York, row 1. Mike Watson, Mason Hine, row 2. Chris Schaefer, John Klimowitz Jr., row 3. Steve Maurer, Gavin Shaw, row 4. Isaac Bowman, Cale Bixler. Round out the top 10. We're back to green. Griggs holds serve. They're off at turn 2. Ted York trying to hang on to second over Mason Hine. Ooh, Maurer really sideways in the center of 3 and 4. Bowman gets it to Maurer and sends him around. No, they save it. Wow. Phenomenal driving between everyone there in the back of the pack. Hine trying to hang on to a spot over Doc Watson. Good defense from the 89. Schaefer, good bite off in turn 2 meanwhile. We go for the slider for 4th possibly. No, we cannot. And Hines sideways again, nearly touches him, and Bowman goes to pit road. Slider by Schaefer. Man, that's a very close call there. Near contact made. Schaefer could not get 4th there off of turn 2. Meanwhile, in all of this, Chad Griggs has pulled away 2.3 seconds on 2nd place, Ted York. Right on board with Chris Schaefer as he tries to get the cushion to work. Third the way through. Off of 4, Schaefer tried underneath on Hine for that podium spot. On Maurer sideways in front of Chris Schaefer. Did he catch the 19? He did. Oh. Schaefer's not going to like that, that's for sure. And somehow still able to drive the number 19. And now we go to yellow for a different issue. John Klimowitz Jr. off the track. Well, a couple of things to look at. Let's look at first the Schaefer incident with the damaged Steve Maurer. Oh, Schaefer didn't even make contact with him. Wow. How close can you get? Take a look at this. Wow, that's a Code Brown moment for Chris. I thought there was contact. And then this is what happened with Klimowitz racing Cale Bixler for a spot. They hook there. Klimowitz upside down cartwheel. Holy height! 10 out of 10 on the landing. Watch this. This is like a gymnastics move. Look at that. Landed the triple-double front flip there. Well, you all know what that means. Fall-off count is up to 10. Watch this restart for the aerial shot. 13 laps complete. Nearly 3 wide for second. Schaefer tried to go for it on Hine. And it may even lose him a spot to Mike Watson. Good turn 2 by Chris Schaefer. That diamond set him up pretty well on Mason Hine for 3rd. Does he slide job here into 3 and 4? He tries to do so. Hine forced to left. Move Chris Schaefer up to the 3 spot. We're halfway home. 15 up and 15 down. Still working on traffic. Chad Griggs opened up a gap on Ted York at 1 second. But the field just about evenly spread out here. Schaefer trying to catch Ted York for that runner-up spot. And was better by nearly 0.2 that last time by. The gap at half a second between second and third. Cuts down another 10th this time. On board Schaefer. That last time by, though, York better by 0.07 of a second. Look at the lap time these last couple of laps. Oh, man, York really sideways into turn one where he nearly lost it there. Luckily didn't lose wholesale. There's your leader still, Chad Griggs. 3.8 seconds on the 009. That's going to end there, though, as the caution flag waves, and it's for Mason Hinover in turn one, who was trying to race for that third spot. Look at what happened. Way too high. It's just simply 360s at. On board with Hine. Yeah, Hine just basically lost it there. So we'll come back to green in just a moment with 8 to go. So that now moves Gavin Shaw, making his Rebels debut. Could make his Renegades debut tonight. Who knows? It's a single file here for the rest of this race. Griggs, York, Schaefer, Watson, and Shaw. That is the top 5 when we come back to the green flag. Griggs able to hold serve. Schaefer looked low on York for the 2 spot. Couldn't really get anything there, though, off return for that last time, but Schaefer gets a little bit sideways. Opens up a chance for Watson to grab that bottom step of the podium once again. But the field is just about evenly spread out here. 6 laps of race to go. 1 car all the way, and the bottom, that was Mason Hine. Remember recovering off that spin. He just made his way past Gavin Shaw for that final spot in the Renegade show. Isaac Bowman not in this race, but just trying to take the checkered flag here at least. Well, Chad Griggs coming to 4 laps to go here. And you know, when he runs in the Rebels, when he wins, you know he's going to be a favorite to win in Renegades. That's always been Chad Griggs. But he's had some limited experience this season, and you can just see how he's driving borderline. Driving on the edge of running that perfect line to crashing out of this one. Just look how close he is. Just take a ride on board. The back end right up on that berm. Final lap underway. This is where if you're Chad, just keep her on the middle low line. You'll be fine. 4-second lead. Battle for second still happening between Ted York and Chris Schaefer. Checkers wave. Chad Griggs, your winner in Rebels tonight. Teddy York second, Chris Schaefer third, Doc Watson fourth, and Mason Hind rounds out your top 5. So Griggs gets to put her in victory lane here tonight. Chris Schaefer, your biggest mover. Same with Isaac Bowman, each up 3 spots here this evening. And we'll prepare to talk to your top 3 as we're moments away from beginning Renegades. So Griggs takes his 3rd win of the season in Rebels, alongside Gavin Chatham, who've been the dominant 2. Chatham not with us tonight. All right, so they're all showing up here. Just got to get Chris Schaefer in, and then we'll be good to go. And I tell you what, let's while we wait for Chris, let's just start right with the winner here, Chad Griggs of the 27. Chad, you just look dominant. Take me through this car and how everything feels right now going into Renegades tonight.
It feels pretty good. I tried a new setup and did a little tinkering with some gear, and I think it'll work. So looking forward to Renegades.
I'm not gonna lie; those final laps made me nervous because you had a 4-second lead, and you were just borderline up there on the cushion. You were like any more higher than that, and you're probably going off.
I felt it a couple of times.
You felt it?
Toward the end. I did. I felt the edge and knew where it was, but I gotta push myself to feel that, know where that edge is. Or,
absolutely.
You know.
So, who do you want to give shout-outs to on this win?
Thank you for the broadcast, C2C for the league, my team, TJM, and Trent Pullman for my wrap.
All righty, well, we will let you go. Great job. Congrats on the win, and best of luck in Renegades.
Thanks, Marty.
Chad Griggs, your winner in this one. Let's go to the second place finisher in Ted York. Ted, a good car. Take me through your race as a whole.
I didn't have the speed as Chad did. I didn't have the guts to push the top as close as he did, so I played it safe for the most part. Figured I'd come home top 3 if I played it safe.
Did you learn anything going into Renegades? And if you're going to be running that, what do you expect?
I expected to be a lot slicker and right up on that lip.
So it's going to be basically a dominant high side track then for Renegades?
Wernerville seems to be that way all the time. It very rarely works in where the bottom's really quick.
Well, who do you want to give shout-outs to on this run before we let you go?
All you guys for putting this on. Thank you for broadcasting. School of Sim Racing and National Auto Racing Club.
Awesome, man. We'll let you go. Congratulations on a great run, and best of luck in Renegades.
Thank you.
So Ted York finishing second here tonight, but it's Chad Griggs, the Rebels winner, and with that, we'll step aside, take a break. Apologies, we do not have Chris Schaefer, but if he does join us after our intermission, we will get him in before before Renegades qualifying. So stay with us on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a
Bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately, they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
Back here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network as we continue on with Renegades here. Brought to you by friends at Flatline Racing Bodies. And speaking of the Steve King Foundation, last week some of our C2 CRO guys were at Knoxville. And I'm trying to read this correctly, but just over $1,000 donated to the Steve King Foundation from our Knoxville Nationals a couple weeks ago. So a shout out to everyone at Coast to Coast that was a part of that, I believe. I see the Bixlers, Dino and Blake Chapman were there to present a ceremonial check. I still remember doing that a couple years ago as well in Knoxville. We had a boatload of us. So, all right, hey, We got Chris Schaefer with us here in now after his third place run at Rebels. Chris, good to talk with you once again, man. Take me through your run tonight, and there were some pretty close calls you had where you probably had a code run moment.
Yeah, I mean, the heat race was a little rough. I got into Kemper there. I thought he was going to be a little higher, and I messed both of our races up there and started farther in the heat feature I wanted to. But yeah, and in the feature, I found a groove that was a little lower than the top. It was a little safer, but it was digging. I was getting around there, and it was pretty fast. I was faster in York, but where he was running at, it was hard to pass. So I didn't want to take nobody out, and he didn't want to. He was trying to stay safe too from going over the edge.
Well, unfortunately, I would love to ask you more, but we're about to go into qualifying, so we're going to let you go. Good luck tonight.
All right, man, no problems.
So this is Chris Schaefer, finished third. And we are going here with qualifying. First driver we'll watch, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer in the World of Outlaws, number 83. Lap 1 underway. Oh, Dittmer up with the wall there. That's going to invalidate his first lap time. Stephen Goldner sets the bar. 12:8:45. Jesse Bandy, 3,000ths back. Let's watch Patrick Spangler, the high side banger, in car number 35. How does he do on lap number 1? Actually, that was actually his warm-up lap correction. Now this is his flying lap. Steven Fernberg up to third, 12:90. Stephen Goldner still quickest. Patrick Spangler, quick time at a 12:8:25. 1:2:825. Blake Chapman, though, beats it, though. 12:7:71. 1:2:771 for the salesman. Oh, Spangler took it back. He stole it back in his hometown. 12:758. Blake Chapman lost it in turn number 4 trying to get it back. Holy hell, what a fun finish there to qualifying. Jack Cote coming to the checkered flag. He is 12th quick. Chris Schaefer 11th quick on his lap of qualifying. And he's got one more left. Slower on lap number 2. So with that, we're ready to go for our first heat race of the night here at Lernerville Speedway. And let's give you your starting lineup for Heat 1 as Gentleman Jack Hitt is on pole in car number 217. To his outside, it's Shorty John Short in the 51. Row 2, the Bandy Builtmaster, Jesse Bandy in car number 49. To his outside, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39. Final row, the Goose, Chad Cote in car number 11. To his outside, Bob DeGood in the 7. So just waiting for 2 people to grid, and then we'll get things going. And so we're all good to go. So they roll off here, and we'll get going. Everyone makes the show tonight, and the winner is on pole position for the feature. So set to take the green flag in just about a lap's time. If you're just tuning in, let us know who you're rooting for in the chat. Appreciate you all joining us here this evening. Winner on pole for our feature this evening. Jack Hitt, John Short, bring us to green for Heat 1. Short around the outside of Gentleman Jack Hitt. Waste no time to take the race lead, but look at Patrick Spangler go. Trying to get second here at the end of lap 1 over Jack Hitt, which he does. Now goes after John Short for that race lead. Peeked underneath. Couldn't do anything about it, though. Jesse Bandy hanging on to third where he started. Jack Hitt's lost a bunch of spots early. Here goes the high side banger up to his patented line. Maybe just waved hi to Gary in turn 1 just moments ago. Sends her deep. Slide job, Patrick Spangler. He goes to the race lead. Short counters it back. Bandy forced to left. It's slide job city in turn 1 at Lernerville. Another slider from Spangler, quickest car on the track. He may have just scraped the wall there. Can John Short send her? No. Spangler with a big gap off of turn 2 to hang on. Jesse Bandy contact with John Short. He is really sideways dirt tracked it across the line. Great save there with 3 laps to go. Jesse Bandy still third and Chad Cote in the 4th spot. And I believe Jack Hitt may have gone off the racetrack. Quick look. Wheel stayed on, so that won't count. Final lap, though, underway. And off at turn number 4, Patrick Spangler, the high side banger, the winner here in Heat 1 is on the pole. John Short second, Jesse Bandy third, Bob DeGood fourth, Chad Cote fifth, and Jack Hitt in 6th. That heat, by the way, brought to you by Gambler Motorsports. We now move to Heat 2, brought to you by Regency Home Inspection. As Chris Schaefer is on pole here in car number 19 to his outside, it's the Desert Demon, Terry Landis, in the 161. Row 2, it's Steven Fernberg in the 29. Next to him, it's the Salesman, Blake Chapman, in the 20. Final row here, the Brewer to Beast, Jeff Barker in the 513, and Chad Griggs in the 27. So field continues to roll here for this. Winner on the outside of the front row. I know this is a stacked heat race. On rows 2 and 3 on the outside, Blake Chapman 4th, Chad Griggs in 6th. Set for the green flag here. Heat 2 underway. Schaefer with the race lead over Terry Landis. Fernberg trying to clear Blake Chapman for third. That he does. But Chapman and Griggs try to rip the lip off at turns 3 and 4. Lap 1 led by Schaefer. Terry Landis underneath on the 19 looking for the race lead. Wing to wing for third off at turn 2. Chapman trying to clear Fernberg. That he does. And Chad Griggs follows him in that number 27. Stack up as Chris Schaefer's got the race lead. Terry Landis following. On board with the 27 of Griggs, staying all over Chapman as Landis plays a little defense on his teammate, but helped him driving deep and caught up to Schaefer. There is some contact there coming off for turn 4. Chapman tries contact with Landis once again. Chad Griggs said, thanks, boys. I'll take the second spot. So it did not pay off for Blake Chapman as Landis is up on the wall. Here comes Griggs. Big launch off for turn 2. Easy slide job off of Chris Schaefer. To the race lead he goes. Big contact. Schaefer around and upside down. Griggs' quickest car, 12.99. Last time by. Blake Chapman, Jeff Barker. Your top 4, white flag, final lap underway. Griggs sends her through 3 and 4 to the checkered flag, and your winner, he'll be on the front row tonight. Landis second, Chapman third, Fernberg fourth, and Barker fifth, and Schaefer sixth. So that'll do it for heat race number 2. One more heat race to go, brought to you by Maurer Farm Management. And this is how they line up as on the pole, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer in the number 83. Next to him, it's the Pink Panther, Jesse Atkinson in the 127. Row 2, Stephen Goldner in car number 30 to his outside. Stephen Goldner starts 4th in the 30. To the inside is Mike Watson, Doc in the 006, and I believe this is his first Renegade start on the year. Final car on the grid, Barry Goldner in the 36 tonight. So final heat race, winner will start inside of row number 2. So set to take the green flag here. Winner inside row 2, heat 3 underway. Good start for the Pink Panther, Jesse Atkinson, who has the race lead for now. Dimmer sends it, and one off the track, it's Goldner. Stephen Goldner to be specific in the 30. Here's a run by Atkinson for the race lead. Does he try to throw the slider? That he does on Brandon Dittmer. Mike Watson tries to become a factor in this as well. So got to update the fall-off count here to 12. Dittmer trying to rip the cushion. And now Doc Watson's got company from Barry Goldner. Race for third. Barry, though, sideways in the center of 1 and 2. Atkinson still your race leader and pulled away a bunch there from Brandon Dittmer at 1.1 seconds as the field is evenly spread apart. 2 to go here in heat 3. Final lap. Watson trying to close it on Brandon Dittmer, but won't do anything. The Pink Panther in the Fresca 127. No pink on this car. Doesn't need it. Atkinson starts third tonight. Your Heat 3 winner. Dittmer second. Watson third. Barry Goldner fourth. And Steven Goldner in fifth. Warm-up time here now on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. So with that, we'll step aside. Stay with us. Warm-ups wrapping up here at Lernerville Speedway. Patrick Spangler the quickest, 13:21. Blake Chapman second at a 13:36. Steven Goldner third, 13:42. Jesse Bandy fourth, 13:43. And Jesse Atkinson fifth at 13:47. So that will do it for warm-ups, and we are ready to go for 35 circuits around Lernerville Speedway. The fall-off count is at 12. Will we get any higher? We're about to find out. Let's meet the field and give you tonight's starting lineup. On the pole, the high side banger, Patrick Spangler in the 39. Next to him, it's Chad Griggs in car number 27. Row 2, the Pink Panther, Jesse Atkinson in the 127. To his outside, it's John Short in the 51. Row 3, the Desert Demon, Terry Landis in the 161. To the outside, the 83, starting 6th, the Spider Monkey, Brandon Dittmer. Row number 4, the Bandy Boat Master, Jesse Bandy in the 49. To the outside, the Salesman, Blake Chapman in the 20. Running out the top 10, Doc, Mike Watson, the 006, and Bob DeGood in car 7. Row 6, Steven Fernberg in the 29. To the outside, Barry Goldner in the number 36. Row 7, the Goose, Chad Cote in the 11. To the outside, Jeff Barker in the 513. And in row 8, Steven Goldner in the 30. To the outside, Gentleman Jack Hitt in the 217. Rounding out the grid, Chris Schaefer. He's in the 19 tonight. So lights are off as we're ready to go green. Let's know your pick to win here in the chat. Hollow checking in. As always, he roots for Chad Cote. My pick this evening, you know what? I'm going to go with Griggs from second tonight. Pace car is in. 17 drivers set to take the green. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now, from coast to coast? It's showtime at the Steel City. The Flatline Racing Bodies green flag is flown. Griggs looking for the race lead on Patrick Spangler. He's still side by side with Atkinson. Lap 1 led by the high side banger. Griggs nearly gets in the bumper of Patrick Spangler. Very close. Meanwhile, Brandon Detmer tries to grab third from the Pink Panther. Here goes Griggs. Lurks underneath here on Spangler for the lead. Spangler couldn't get the drive off that he wanted, but neither could Chad Griggs. Atkinson with a much better car on corner exit. Jesse Bandy hanging on in fourth. Running out the top 5, Blake Chapman over Brandon Denver. They touch. And somehow it didn't affect anybody there. Atkinson, oh boy, nearly went off there. Allows Jesse Bandy, quickest car last lap, to peek underneath, and he moves up into the bottom step of the podium. Griggs still looking for that race lead. Bandy quicker and quicker. 13:48 that last time by, also in the slipstream of the top 2, which can be a factor as well. This time it was Spangler quickest. Here goes Griggs for the race lead off for 2. Didn't get the exit he wanted. Could he go for the slider? No, Spangler shuts the door right in his face. And he nearly caroms off the wall. Griggs up there for that race lead, and Spangler gave up the top, and he's going to go for the slide job here, but he left the door open for Chad Griggs. Griggs, top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Oh, he went borderline too far. Atkinson up on the wall, caution flag waves. And that was the risk I was talking about, the final lap of heat races. And this time he just blew it up there. You couldn't really see the cushion. Third through 3 and 4. He kept the wheel on the track, though. But just a little bit too much. On board with Griggs. Dusting the top up for the same time. Too much chocolate chips in the cookies. On board Jesse Atkinson. I think that may have damaged the right front. We'll have to see how bad it did it. You know, that 127 actually doesn't look too bad despite that contact. As Griggs making his way onto the racetrack. So going to come back to the green flag this next time by. Patrick Spangler, Jesse Bandy, row 1. Jesse Atkinson, Blake Chapman, row 2. Brandon Dittmer, Stephen Goldner, row 3. Doc Watson, Jeff Barker, row 4. Chris Schaefer, Chad Cote, they round out your top 10. Back to the green for the restart. We've got 9 laps complete. A lot of duking and dazzling. We had 2 off the track. Bandy and Stephen Goldner. And Jesse Bandy was in the 3rd spot. We'll have to see what happened. The front 3, though, all single file. Here's a look. They shared. Bandy on that front row. Caught Jesse Atkinson and Stephen Goldner up there. Both with nowhere to go. That's a heartbreak for the 49 car. But now look who's in second. Blake Chapman. You've got company for that race lead, Mr. Spangler. And it's not going to come easy by the salesman. Peeks downstairs for the race lead off for turn 4. Does he have it? No, it's still Spangler. And Brandon Dittmer says it's time to party in the 83. Atkinson also a part of this race too. A great dandy battle here off for turn 4. Spangler hangs on, caution flag waves. And I'd have to guess Jesse Bandy just made his way onto the racetrack, and something tells me that's what triggered the yellow. Yep, he came to a stop line, the field to go by, and he forgot. Yep, that's what brought the caution flag out. Yeah, sometimes drivers aren't too aware of that. So I'll have another double file restart coming up in just a moment once we reset things. So we should have the lights go off this time by. And then we'll come back to the green flag. Watch this restart from the blimp. Spangler brings us back to green. And how about Brandon Dittmer? I think he edged out Blake Chapman for second at the line. That'd be huge. Would put Training Wheels Racing 1-2. But Beatty wants the race lead here off for turn 4. No, Chapman has the second spot for right now. And the salesman wants that lead. Trying to blow some popcorn in the dust of the high side banger. But Spangler's so good at ripping the cushion here at his home track. Dittmer nearly goes off there, allows Jesse Atkinson to try and get up to third. And how about this? Look at the 5th and 6th cars. Chad Griggs, Chris Schaefer, all out of Rebels. Griggs had that accident in the first caution flag. He's back up to a top 5 spot. Now you got Chris Schaefer, who was 3rd in the Rebels, running in 6th. Masterful job by both of them. Schaefer started in 17th, and he's up to 6th. But it's still 3 cars under a blanket for the race lead. Could say 5 under a blanket if you include Atkinson and Chad Griggs on board with the 27. He's caught up to the Pink Panther for 4th. Got it there for the Pink Panther. Next sight, Brandon Dittmer. Chapman still wants that race lead. What a race this is so far. It's far from over, that's for sure. 13 to go. Jesse Atkinson, did he go off? He saved it. I think he may have spun, though. Doc Watson off the pace of the 006. And we got trouble. Denver! I think went off track in turn 4. Caution flag waves. He was battling for second. Couple things to look at here. This is Atkinson first. Wow! That's a save and a half right there. And now we head to Brandon Dittmer. I believe this is going to be fall off count number 15. Greg's looking for third. He had it too high. So that's fall off count number 15 for the Spider Monkey this evening. And that'll put him tail. So single file here, rest of this race, as this is our third restart of the night coming up here. Here we go, back to the green flag, 11 to go. So Spangler able to hold serve. Griggs thought about going around the outside of Blake Chapman for the second spot. He's got it. The comeback is nearly complete for Chad Griggs. Caution wave, Steven Fernberg off the track. Just like Brandon Dittmer, and that was a little bit of a harder impact there that time. On board Fernberg's fall-off count now at 16 this evening. So Fernberg rolls out, used his quick repair, and now is in the back. So Chad Griggs looking to pull off the comeback here after spinning to be the first caution flag. 9 laps to go. It's happened before in Coast to Coast. Last time I recall it happening, I want to go back to maybe a year or two ago when Brennan Lacey did it at Williams Grove. Spangler holds serve off for turn 2. Griggs tries to get the slipstream down the back. And he is all over that tail tank for the race lead. There he goes, middle side. Is it going to work? No, it doesn't. Patrick's going to guard that top. He ain't going anywhere else. He's going to force Griggs to throw the slider, and Spangler will counter it. That is what it's likely going to come down to. On board with Griggs, 6 laps to go. Brandon Dittmer has crashed once again. No caution flag. We stay green. Quick look. If this is going to be a fall off or not. And that it will. Griggs for the lead, though. There's the slide job we talked about. Spangler counters. Griggs, your leader at the line. 4 laps to go. Another slider for Patrick Spangler. Griggs, big steam on corner exit. They're wing to wing into turn number 3. Griggs once again. Go! Contact! Spangler goes off the track! Oh, no! Oh! It was slide job city in those final laps, just as I expected it to, and Spangler had a line going. Griggs just drifted up into him. Another late race drama once again, much like we saw last week. There it was, and yes, Spangler could have lifted. But the 39 had a run going in the center of 3 and 4. Chances for Spangler to win are done. So Chad Griggs trying to steal the win here at Lernerville, and now Blake Chapman could be challenging. And how about the man now in 3rd, Chris Schaefer, from 17th to 4th? 17th to 3rd, correction. He finished 3rd in Rebels and could get a better finish in Renegades. Atkinson 4th, and Jack Hitt up 11 spots from 16th to 5th. Back to green, 3 laps to go. Schaefer trying to hang on to 3rd here over Jesse Atkinson. They go side by side. Jack Hitt tries to make it 3 wide. Schaefer hangs on for now. We got Fernberg and the wallet around. We go back to yellow, and Brandon Dittmer is also a part of this accident too. So the cautions breeding cautions late in the going here. Watch Fernberg here again. Just runs out of road. And luckily everyone was already past him as he started to come down. Let's watch what happened with Dittmer on board with him. Who did he make contact with off of 4? Oh, I think that was Barry Goldner in the 36. So this will be a green-white checker now. First of 2 attempts at overtime. Should they take the white, we'll take the checkered. Should they take the yellow before they take the white? We'll do it one more time. How is this going to turn out in the end? Will Griggs pull off the comeback? Or can Blake Chapman steal it in the final 2 laps? Back to green. And we're back to yellow again, and we'll do this one more time, and this time... Oh, it's for Jesse Atkinson. He restarted in the 4th spot. Was there some brake checking going on, though? Oh, no, that was clearly netcode. Clearly netcode. Watch from this perspective here off of 4. Oh, nope, never mind. I spoke too soon. There was contact with Schaefer. I don't know what the heck I was looking at. So this will now be the final restart of the race. Should a yellow fly before the white, it's over. So the lights are off. Chad Griggs, Blake Chapman, Chris Schaefer, Jack Hitt now up to 4th, Chad Cote in 5th. Bob D. Good, haven't talked about him yet in this race. He runs in the 6th spot. Doc Watson 7th, Jeff Barker 8th, Stephen Goldner 9th, and John Short 10th. Final restart of the night here at Knoxville. Chapman looking low. That's the best he's going to have to go for the race lead. But at this point, you got to drive it in very deep each and every lap. That's what the salesman is doing here for the race lead, but won't get the exit. That may have been his only shot at the win. Final lap underway for Chad Griggs. And the aces up Sim Sports. TJM number 27. Blake Chapman too far back. The comeback is complete from the spin to the win. Chad Griggs, the winner here at Lernerville, and he gets it done. So he sweeps the wing portions of the night. Blake Chapman 2nd. Jack Hitt in 3rd, up 13 spots. Schaefer up 13 to finish 4th, and Chad Cote 5th, but Chad Griggs is the winner. And I would have to guess that this is a bittersweet win with the way this finish turned out late, because I know Chad doesn't like to race like that when it comes to contact. But Griggs will take the win, though. However, he can get him, I assure you that. Wins by 0.6 of a second on Blake Chapman. Final fall-off count tonight, 18. If you guessed 18, congratulations. So we've got your 3rd place finisher in the chat, and we'll bring him on in right now. Let's talk to him. Jack Hitt, where in the world did that run come from tonight? What a finish for you, I believe as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is your best finish you've ever had in Renegades.
It's definitely at least tied for. I don't know if I've gotten second. I know I don't have any wins, but got a few podiums.
I'm going to double check right now then, but take me through your run tonight.
First half of the race had no clue I was going to be able to get up there, and then late in the race there, the bottom just started to feel really good, and some things obviously fell my way, but we'll take advantage of it and get in this podium.
So I can confirm this is your third place finish in Renegades. Haven't had one since May of 2024 at this very same track.
It's a good place. Maybe we should just race here every week.
PA tracks actually just treat you well as a whole. You also have a third at Port Royal.
I was about to say Port Royal. I'm pretty sure.
I believe that was the race where we had the wild night and all the upsets. So, but anyway, regardless, who do I give shout outs to on this run?
Shout outs for you putting on the broadcast, everybody for coming out and putting on a good race, everybody behind the scenes making things go. Shout out to Bob and Jeff for letting me crash their Discord party, and thanks to my wife for giving me time to do it.
Well, we'll let you go. Great job tonight, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, maybe next year. Thanks,
Maybe.
Marty.
Jack Kent finishing third. Let's go to the salesman, Blake Chapman, who finishes second. A tough run at the end, Blake. What more did you need for Chad?
Yeah, I think I just needed to go with a little different setup there. The car felt really good for the first half of the race, I would say, and then we were hanging right with Patrick there. Then he started leaving us, and Chad got around us there, and I was just really holding on to the car at that point, trying to keep it on the track, and was hoping the bottom would come in. There was grip down there, and I felt like the car was hooked up down there, but it just wasn't fast enough. That top was just too fast with the momentum out there, and it felt like we probably had a third place car. Just holding on to it there, and it's fortunate to see. I know Patrick go over the top there with Chad and him racing hard, but it's worked out for me to take second there, and then like I said, just those last couple laps, just trying to hold on to this thing. So next time we're gonna have to check our notes and run a little something different here for sure.
Who do I give shout outs to on the run?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents and grandparents for watching. I got to thank all the guys out of KSR, especially Terry and Shorty for running with me tonight. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and Andy at AJ Custom Creations. Got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring this division. Got to thank Steve at Steve's Custom Golf Clubs and Mauer Farm Management. And, of course, I got to thank Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They have some very delicious popcorn, and you can check it out for yourself. Just head over to their website, and don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 50% off. And got to thank everyone involved in putting this league on, and I got to thank you for the broadcast, Marty.
Well, awesome job tonight. Congratulations on a good run, and big points day for you tonight as well, too. So hopefully you can take advantage of that going into the final 3 weeks.
Thanks, Marty.
Blake Chapman, the winner. Let's go to the winner, Chad Griggs. Chad, you sweep the sprint car night tonight. I mean, and what a comeback. Take me through how you were able to pull that off from the caution flag you were involved in back up to the front.
Just patience and working through things. But first of all, I haven't gone back and looked at it, the contact between Patrick Spangler and I would, if I'm owed an apology to him, I would certainly first and foremost offer up that apology if I was to blame. I thought I had room to come up, and so I came up. I didn't try to come up quickly. I don't know whether that tricked him into thinking that there was room on the outside and it ran out. I don't know. But anyway, first and foremost, if I'm at fault in that, I would offer up my apology to him first and foremost. I don't try to race dirty. I don't try to take people out. That's just not what I do. So outside of that, it was, I mentioned earlier, trying to push it earlier in the race and find the line. Well, I guess I found it early on in the race. But after that, I knew that I was out of my quick repair and just had to be careful and kind of work my way through guys to get back to the front. And then when I got to the front, I thought Spangler and I were really duking it out hard and going at it and had a good race going. I just hate that how it ended for him. I don't like that.
I know I kind of asked you this question moments ago, but where did you feel your car was really good compared to your opponents?
I needed to be on the top and be comfortable with the top. I was good in 1 and 2, running the top, felt good up there. The top in 3 and 4 was a little bit more sketchy, so I found myself kind of trying to cheat the entry on the corner in 3 and 4 to, versus entering right up on the very ragged edge of the lip there. But that's where I just felt I needed to settle into the top, and then there was a midpoint there where I forget who it was. I just kind of stalled because I got behind somebody that was running the top as well in 1 and 2, and I was faster, but I just couldn't make a move if I'm following. So I just start searching around and make different moves off of 3 and 4 to get me some momentum going into 1 and 2. And yeah, it was just a whole game of searching, trying to find different lines and move around and try to get past people when you got to go the back like that early on.
How do you feel going into Eldora next week?
Oddly enough, Eldora is not a track that I feel really comfortable at, but I'll turn some laps there and see if I can figure something out.
Who do I give shout-outs to?
Thank you for the broadcast. You do an amazing job. C2C for the league. My team, TJM and Trent Pullman for my wrap.
All righty. Well, we'll let you go. Great job tonight. Congratulations on both wins.
Thanks, Marty.
So Chad Griggs takes the checkered flag, wins the Renegades here tonight. And with that, that'll do it for us here. A reminder what's coming up here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. Tomorrow night, we've got Retread Tuesday. We've got 358s at Lernerville and DW12s at Talladega. Wednesday, Hometown Heroes. We've got Knoxville. Oh, yeah, I should mention Tuesday night. Doug from How to Suck at iRacing has the broadcast there. Wednesday, Hometown Heroes, 358s and 360s at Knoxville. Thursday Night Thunder with the Modifieds at Fairbury, broadcasted by Adam Flieger. And then next week, Monday Night Madness, back to Eldora Speedway. With that, that's going to do it for us. On behalf of everyone here at the Coast to Coast Racing League, all the fine drivers and sponsors and admins, Marcy Callis saying so long. Congratulations to all your winners this evening, but another fun one at Lerner.